What is poppin', people? You got J Bear here, bringing you all BBR week number 4 going up against DonMefesto. Just changed his name. Pretty cool. Before we get much further, I would like to ask you guys, please, I'm begging, like if you enjoy, subscribe. End of season goal is 1,000 subscribers. I know we can get there, and I am just asking, begging at this point. We're at 900 right now, a little bit above. So, if you can get us there, I would really appreciate that. And then also comment. I love responding to comments. It's like makes my day whenever I get a comment. So please make my day. And then yeah, we're going up against Mephesto. Mephesto, prior to the season, I don't think had any draft league experience, but he's quickly become a very, very threatening coach. He's got some of the most game knowledge. I would say he's one of, if not the most fundamentally sound player in the league. And I've enjoyed watching Mephesto's content. I did not know who he was prior to the league, but I've really enjoyed getting into him. I really like the energy that he brings, and so I encourage you all to check him out as well for some very high-quality play, both in this BBR Draft League and outside of it. He's a guy who I would recommend watching if you want to get better at Pokemon. But yeah, let's go through this matchup. In case you don't recall from last week, I did make a couple swaps. We got Garchomp, Cinderace, Baxcalibur, Dragon, and Electric Terrace, Gengar, Klefki, Rotomo, Dudunsparce, Heracross, Quagsire, and Drifblim. And Mephesto is rocking with Houndstone. That is a Last Respects allowed Houndstone. Very scary, very threatening Mon. Tyranitar, Sandy Shocks, Salamence, Toxapex, Bronzong, Espeon, Cloyster, Lucario, Dugtrio, and Oricorio. So yeah, just going through his threats, he's got a Sand Core with the Houndstone, which I think is what you should do with it, even though I think Fluffy is actually really scary on that Mon. This week, I don't see that coming. I think he's going to get creative with Houndstone. I don't know if it necessarily has the deepest move pool in the world, but I have something that checks it really, really well in the Dudunsparce. So either I expect him to play aggressively with it and, go Houndstone. I'm going to go to Dunsparce, so Lucario comes in. And I think he can make plays like that and really capitalize. I think that's an option for him, or he'll bust out some techs, but I'm not sure what type of techs he could necessarily go with it. I don't think it has the deepest move pool. T-Tar is a Tyranitar. It can be scary, just like ball of stats. That is also a Sand Setter and very fat, but it can eat some of the hits from my team, but not the best, because obviously Garchomp can Earthquake it. It can be like Shuka Ice and lure my Garchomp, which could be scary, but you'll see. Cinderace obviously can HJK it, Bax will get through it, and Gengar can Focus Blast it, and so really everything has ways around T-Tar, but that's what you get for it. But it's a scary Mon. I could see a Resist Berry or a Smooth Rock T-Tar coming. Sandy Shocks, I don't think comes here. It's got one of its worst matchups of the season, with Garchomp stuffing it, being 1 point faster, and Rotomo literally stuffing it. Quad resist one stab, immune to the other. So Sandy Shocks is kind of stuffed here. But I could see Sash Spikes coming. Mence is scary. Obviously my Steel and Fairy are Klefki, so Draco or Dragon Claw can be free late game. I could see a Scarf set. Slick brought that in a mock, and I think it's very scary. It's partly why I made some changes to my team. So that could come, or it could be defensive for Cinderace with Roost and stuff like that. Pax is very exploitable here, so it might not even come, but it is also part of why Cinderace can be stuffed. Bronzong is something that I expect to come for the Double Dragons. Obviously, it can be peppered with hits throughout the game, and I think prepping in a way to pepper Bronzong with hits was something that was important for me, so that I could get in a position where Bax could win. That was something that I was looking at. Espeon's really scary. As you can tell, I don't have a Dark type. My only Psychic resist is Klefki. Yeah, send help. Mephesto, he likes going screens on his Espeon. I think that's a possible threat. Specs, Scarf are also very possible with Trick. Or even Calm Mind. I could see all of those being valid brings. Excuse me. Tad bit sick. It is what it is. Cloyster is a Cloyster. It can Shell Smash. Quagsire stuffs it, but he could prep in a way that he can either lure Quagsire, or he knows something else that I don't And, you know, Cloyster could be scary late game. Lucario, yeah, it's a scary threat. It's got Terra normal and Steel. I expect normal. My normal resist Klefki, immunity, Gengar, and Drifblim. So it could definitely come and be scary. Steel's also an option, but Steel is weak to like the stabs of some of my bigger threats, and isn't a Shadow Ball immunity, which he's kind of weak to Shadow Ball plus Focus Blast. And obviously Lucario makes him still weak to Shadow Ball plus Focus Blast, but less so. Dougie I don't see coming. It doesn't really successfully trap anything on my team. And then Oricorio could come. My flying resist is just Klefki, so that's obviously a thing that could happen. And then my fire resist on top of that, if you like incorporate it, I'm fucked. So it could come, but most likely predictive team, if I had to make Mephesto a team here, I would probably build him something with Houndstone, Tyranitar, leave a note on Houndstone, double to Lucario almost always. Tyranitar, Smooth Rock, or Resist Berry. Mence I would bring, probably offensive Scarfed. Bronzong I would bring with like rocks, and I would rely on Bronzong to get my rocks up. Espeon with Specs. I would bring Specs Espeon into my team. And then Lucario I would bring Terra Swords Dance normal. Outside of that, I would probably think that Toxapex could come, but you have to really build in a way that like Toxapex is not a liability. You could do like what OU's doing right now with the AV offensive Toxapex, but I don't necessarily think that's incredible. But he could do that. But I think he would want Haze, because Haze is needed here, and it is not quite threatening enough to do enough damage to like Excalibur. I could see Cloyster coming. It's a Cheesemon. He did smash D-Ray with it, so he might have some sentimental value on it too. You never know. And so that's what I'm predicting. So let's see how I plan on overcoming this matchup. Starting off, obviously that Houndstone is a threat. Dudunsparce has to come. And on top of that, you know what I was saying about those doubling plays. So I'm going one step above that and putting Choppleberry on my Dudunsparce for that Lucario to live close combat with and body press it back and cleanly OHKO it. No matter what it tears into, everything's going to be weak to fighting. And we've got Shadow Ball, Boomburst, Roost, and Body Press. So yeah, body press it back, KO it. We were living Life Orb Jolly from anywhere above 50%, and Life Orb Adamant from slightly above that. So the Dudunsparce is here, ready to be a threat. Boomburst is great for his team, and then Shadow Ball peppers the Bronzong and Houndstone well enough. Excalibur's cool. Glaive Terra Dragon is super free. It's doing so much damage to everything. Crunch is cool for the Zong Shard for the faster stuff, and then Swords Dance, and I don't see a world where I can't position a Excalibur sweep. I would have to really, really get behind, and if I do that, I'm kind of fucked. But hopefully I'm in a position where I can click Swords Dance and go from there. Klefki has T-Wave, D-Gleam, Spikes, and Foul Play. This was definitely a later addition because I was getting railed by Specs Espeon, and I needed some more insurance against Cloyster. So we've got Thunderwave, Dazzling Gleam, Spikes, Foul Play. Obviously, Spikes are great to go up. Thunderwave great for his threats, setup potentially. Gleam can be decent enough damage on things that it needs to damage, like Salamence. And then Foul Play is great for the Espeon so that it can't like Calm Mind set up on me. Gengar is... it's a Gengar. And here we've got Boots with Plot, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, and Thunderbolt. I assumed that I could potentially be switching this Gengar in and out a lot. I didn't really need Scarf. It's faster than everything already. So then Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, Thunderbolt was cool, and then Nasty Paw as an option to potentially go through. His team is really, really clean. Rotom is scary. Just good lead overall, unless I see the Sandy Shocks, in which case I'm assuming that it's Sash Spikes, and I'm going to lead with my Garchomp. Going up with Volt Switch, Leaf Storm, Will-O-Wisp, and Dark Pulse. I think that this thing is relatively threatening enough with the Volt Switches, potentially getting myself in position, I think is what I wanted to do here. Leaf Storm, Willow is good options, and then Dark Pulse is scary enough, obviously. So Dark Pulse. Doesn't really be, it's not needed. I could have gone like Thunderbolt or Discharge, but I chose Dark Pulse to get a little bit more damage on that Bronzong and potentially pop a Colbur Berry. And then Garchomp, EQ, Draco, Crunch, Swords Dance. You're like, what is Swords Dance Draco doing? Throwbacks. But we've got Draco to clean the Oko Cloyster and to also put it in Salamence. That's all we really needed it for. So yeah, that is the team, and I will see you guys in the battle. Alright, and here we are versus the DonMefesto. And we do see Lucario. We see the Oricorio Fire. I was not expecting Oricorio, but that's fine. Espeon, Bronzong, Cloyster, and Mence. This is a very interesting team comp compared to what I was seeing in mocks, but I think it's beatable. No Houndtar, so Dun is more expendable, which is great because I can devote to Cloyster a bit more, or to Lucario with the Chople Berry Body Press to pick up clean KOs on that. Klefki was a last minute addition. I'm happy I made it. Helps with the Espeon a good amount, and helps versus Cloyster as well. Gengar is somewhat expendable here. My lead's been Rotom pretty consistently, so I think I'm just going to continue like that and continue leading with the Rotom. Bax is great here. We're Terra Steel, or not Terra Steel, we're Terra Dragon. Glaive Rush bops his stuff with a Crunch Shard SD. And I think that'll be pretty valuable for me. Oricorio with Quiver could get scary, maybe, because I went Draco Chomp to knock out Cloysters, but he leads the Mence, that's fine. I'm going to get off, I think I want to Beta Wisp. Worst case he goes Espeon, and I get burned myself. But I'm just going to Beta Wisp. Or he like Fire Blasts, but I think I should eat that up. And Rotom is not like the most important mon here. And baiting Wisp something is will be useful. Maybe I should have volted, but like same time, Mence isn't like super duper exploitable. But my guess is that he's Moxie. I didn't see the Intim go off. I'm pretty sure at least. I can check next turn, because I'll still be in here unless he Dragon Tails me, but I don't see him Dragon Tailing me. He just drops a Draco. That's fine. Special attack falls, and he's special. Cool. And we'll get some lefties back, and then we will swap into Klefki probably, and think a foul play, I think. On a presumed Espeon for the screens is what I would guess. Or I can Volt, actually. Get some slow Volt action going seems beneficial. How important is health on Rotom? Honestly, not the most important. I'm just going to get a slow Volt out. And he's Moxie, I'm pretty sure. But wait, that doesn't make sense. He just dropped a Draco. But shout out Slick. Slick brought Draco Mence in the mock. I'm not sure. Slick brought Scarf. Mixed, which I think is something Mephesto could do with Earthquake as well for the keys. But either way, he's now fearing Bax. Bax coming in and setting up could be pretty clean, and then Crunch will be able to cleanly two-shot Bronzong. Shards will be strong. Everything looks pretty solid for what I'm trying to do. He swaps, so we get the slow Volt out, which is pretty nice. Espeon comes in, kinda as potentially predicting. And we do cop a nice slow Volt. Do a good chunk to this thing, in all honesty. And now, I feel like if I go Gengar, you have to respect the Scarf, right? Gengar Shadow Balls are very, very free in the end game, though, so I don't need to do that. Klefki is the resist. I'm just going to go Klefki and foul play this, honestly. He may want to elect to stay in because he doesn't want me to get hazards up and he gets screens up. Is something that I could see Mephesto doing. I know he does enjoy screens. Oh, he tricks. Is he Specs? Is he Scarf? He's Scarf. Okay, cool. Good thing I did not go Gengar then. and he gets lefties, that's fine. Foul play nearly takes this thing out. I'm just going to go for it again, I guess. I think is my play. Nothing really wants to... I don't want to, like, let in some free setup threats, though. And he did just trick, so... I don't see him, like, ever raw psychic moving here. And I don't really see him staying in. I feel like there's, like, such good momentum to be gained. I'm going to go Garchomp. I feel like he has such good opportunities to do things with his turn here, and staying in is not one of them. So, I will make a play. If he does just Mystical Fire, that's worst case, but that even is fine. We do swap. I wonder if we're faster. Or if he does just go for like a screen or a Mystical Fire or something. He does just Psychic. Wow, good play, good play. Ah, that does more than I wanted it to. Should have just foul played. Darn it. I do like keeping my Garchomp around though, and go back into the Klefki and then Gleam. I just didn't want to like let in free setup turns for him, but that I guess makes sense. Does it? Not really. I don't see why he would sack his Espeon there when he has Magic Bounce available to him. Oh well. He just Psychics again. This will be fine. I just want to maintain Prankster availability. Yeah, foul play's fine here. But like, I thought he would want to preserve Magic Bounce for later in the game because now I can spike up later. That's fine. I'm gonna just lock a foul play again. Did Espeon even keep Mystical Fire? I thought it did, but okay, now he makes the swap. Into Lucario. Is he justified? He's not justified. Okay, cool. I don't really have good plays into Lucario, if I'm being honest. I imagine he could... I'm just gonna go Rotom. He could Earthquake. I think he does Earthquake here or Swords Dance. SD setting up is pretty threatening, but I'm curious if he's Steel or Normal, but I don't think we're going to find that out this turn. Choppledon is also pretty nice for later in this game, if I can scare this Lucario out potentially, but like if he Swords Dances, tough shit. Could also be Plot. It's something to consider, but his Terras benefit physical way more. He does CC. Okay. Is he Life Orb? Defense drops. Special defense drops. No item is shown. Life Orb is shown. Okay. Gengar, Shadow Ball. Or Gengar Nasty Plot. Oh, we got the lucky Gengar animation where it's floating. Give me Levitate right now. Give me Levitate. Honestly, what's stopping a Nasty Plot? But like, he's not gonna sack it. I'm Nasty Plotting. There's no way you stay in. He could Terra Normal though. And I suppose that would do it. But like even then, that's like such a 50-50 that I don't know if he wants to take. And he could also just be Terra Steel. And I could just Focus Blast him too to cover that. Yeah. That's what we wanted. That's what we thought we were going to see. Oh, low battery. Espeon comes out. Okay. Can we win a speed tie? Because if we win a speed tie, is this worth risking a speed tie? Honestly, I don't really have good Espeon swaps at this point. So, I would say yeah. We're gonna go for it. Please hit. Or please win. Boom. Boom, baby, boom, baby, boom. Fantastic. Gengar claims 1. I wonder where he's gonna go. My room at home really does not have good lighting for my face cam. I look like a shadow. It's probably the window, but whatever. Mence comes out. You're definitely like Scarf Mence, right? Gengar. We definitely die to like stuff that he would want to do. I'm gonna go into Dudunsparce. I feel like he's Scarf Moxie. And then I can like throw off either like Shadow Ball or Boom Burst. Shadow Ball lets me tap Bronzong pretty nicely, which is clutch. Otherwise, like, because if you're not like Fat Mence, Shadow Ball is very, very heavily in my favor to kill you. So I have to respect the Scarf Scout until proven otherwise. Dracos. Was I gonna eat that? Okay, so what do I want to do? What? Good for you, Tatey. Good for you. I'm gonna Shadow Ball here, expecting this Bronzong to come in. And if you reveal to me that you're not Scarf, I'm very glad to see that. Oh wait, you're burnt. I could have totally stayed in. I totally could have done that. But like if you're like 252 special attack, timid with Draco. It's very much a roll. Okay, cool. So we get the Shadow Ball off, which will do great chip. And then we'll body press. I wish I roosted there, but we've got Choppleberry. So I think we're fine. This is Life Orb Lucario, actually. Maybe we're not. But like, yeah, we chew. We chew, unless he's adamant. If he's adamant, it's a roll. But it does 224. And he is Terra Normal. That's what I expected. And he stores it. Boom, baby, boom. Let's go. We have Choppleberry, so like, that was a relatively risk-free play. If he was adamant instead of jolly. It was a roll heavily in my favor. I lived 75% of the time. But that's tremendous for me. If he goes Bronzong, I might even be able to get a Roost off for later. But Lucario being gone, tremendous. Espeon being gone, incredible. I kind of want to just like sack Klefki for spikes at this point. But I like having it as an insurance policy versus Cloyster. He does just go Cloyster. I feel like I can Boom Burst this thing, honestly. Like, Boom Burst just like fucks him. Yeah, he Shell Smasher, so even better. Like, Boom Burst shreds. And if you're Sash, I have Shard. Awesome. So we just got Cloyster for nothing. Tremendous. The Dudunsparce. What a legend. What a legend right here. In the making. So he's got Mence left. He's got Oricorio left. Oricorio could be kind of scary. Yeah, here it is. I feel like as long as I don't let this thing set up too much, I'm fine. I just go backs, honestly. Or I can go Klefki and T-Wave it. But I feel like backs and then just like Glaive Rushing this thing is fine. I feel like you don't Rev Dance, and even if you do, I'm fine. I'm very bulky on my backs, and Oricorio is not that scary offensively immediately. And I imagine he might even be like a defaulting set. But he could just Quiver here. I'm expecting to Quiver. Yeah. So, like, now, Baxcalibur, Oricorio. For, like, looking at 252 special attack, Hurricane. But, like, this is also 50-50 on what Terra I am. I think Dragon, so for, I think it smokes. Okay, he swaps. Bronzong probably comes out. That's fine. If anything, I can just SD on the Bronzong. Because that'll get rid of my Glaive Rush, I believe, status. If it gets rid of that on the spot, and then I can crunch it. This is going to do so much damage. Like, insane amounts of damage. Yeah. Fantastic. And so now we SD. I'm just like, my hands are weird. I don't know if you guys can see that because my controller is on a charger that is maybe 8 inches. Probably closer to like, no, that's 8 inches, I would say. Insert jokes here, but like, I'll ask him after the game about the Cloister play, but I can SD. As he just rocks up. Yeah, okay, that's game. Good game. That's a very late game rocks. Kind of confused. I just crunch him here. He could be Colbert, I guess. But that's Bronzong dead. And then Shard the Mence. Could be Yachi Mence, I suppose. But even then, like, I think you might just drop through it. Oricorio comes out. You have to hope for a confusion here into self-hit. I'm a Glaive. Communication error has occurred. Shit. I will be right back. Alright. Okay. Conclusion of that game. Didn't bother going back into that same scenario. What would have needed to happen for Mephesto would be confusion into self-hit, which off of Hurricane, confusion is 21%, accounting for a hit chance. I lived crit, so that doesn't matter. Into 30% confusion hit rate, he would have needed like a 7% chance to even still be alive, but the game was still packed up from there with my Gengar and just like Garchomp being like alive and well, and just the rest of my team being fine. So that's ultimately how we decided to do it. So we take this win here, and we will play John next week. So see y'all.